Ladies and gentlemen, there is no better way than to start the weekend off here in style. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm promising you, we've had him on many, many times. They don't call him Mr. Sportswire for nothing. But this is going to be the show that's going to top all of them combined. He's got a lot to say. We've got a match announcement. We've got other companies to get into. I'm going to go straight for the jugular, straight to the chase here because he's got a lot on his mind. He's standing up tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So there's no more fun and games. There's no more jokes. So let's get right to it. So without further ado here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show, pro wrestling star here from Nonstop Action Wrestling, Nonstop, Never Stop, Blackheart Wrestling, Wrestling Appreciation Society, and many, many other places to come. The Lawman, Kyle Kennedy! Kennedy! Mr. Sportswire, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Tom?
I'm hanging in there, Mr. Sportswire. I'm hanging in there here. Certainly on a Monday evening, and here in New York, it's Monday afternoon, and it's been pretty dreary. And it's almost, in a way, how kind of I feel in a way that you've been treated, my friend, when it comes to some different wrestling companies. Because certainly we'll get into the announcement with you and Donnie Franchise, former best friend. We'll get into things here in Blackheart Wrestling for sure. But I noticed that Nonstop Action Wrestling has an event coming up, which is now less than 3 weeks away, and I still don't see the Lawman Kyle Kennedy on the card. And on top of that, I see the world-class title holder, the wild card Tommy Dillon. I mean, he's practically wrestling disabled at this point. I mean, maybe he should apply for disability benefits as a champion. I mean, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, I have to ask you, I mean, what's going on here?
I can ask you the same thing, Tom. Injustice, as I like to put it. I'm a man who seeks my own justice through my own selfish validation. Hence the moniker Mr. Justice or the Lawman. I don't know. I want to wrestle. I want to fight. But for some weird reason, bad things happen to people whenever they step in the ring with me. And then what's even worse is that I get reprimanded for doing things that wrestlers do, which is hurt people for a living. So I don't get it. I really don't.
But here's the thing, and I get if some even want to say, well, maybe the actions against Conor Cage were too far. But here's the thing on that. Hear me out on this, though. There have been wrestlers, and I said this the last time you came on, that have done far worse. But on top of that, look it over in another company that we'll get into in a little while, Wrestling Appreciation Society, where you were the first guy, and then afterwards, the floodgates have opened. Nonstop Action Wrestling, who do you think of when you think of Nonstop Action Wrestling? You think of the Lawman Kyle Kennedy. I mean, you've been the guy of all the people that Nonstop Action Wrestling had. The person who made the most impact in GT Ministries was the Lawman, Kyle Kennedy. Everybody else that stepped in there with the likes of Gareth Angel, it was literally blink of an eye. It was a flash in the pan moment. You stood toe-to-toe with them. Blackheart Wrestling, what you did being in a main event at the last show. So the way I see it, it's all about business. It's all about who brings in the most engagements, who brings in the most followers, who also has the best record. And I said this in the last time you came on. Your winning percentage in all of professional wrestling is at the top. So to me, there's somebody out there that has an axe to grind with you. That's all I can say, Mr. Sportswire.
I honestly have nothing to say. I feel like I've exhausted everything that I can and should say. Um, Clearly, none of it has worked. I'm trying to get people's attention, and it's not worked. I'm trying to get booked. It's not worked. I'm trying to look for fights and matches. It's not worked. Someone out there clearly, stupidly, doesn't want Kyle Kennedy involved. And maybe it's because I'm a bit of a hothead. Maybe it's because I say how it is. That's not my fault. It's not my fault I shoot straight from the hip. I'm a bruiser, I'm a powerhouse, I'm a bad man. But guys like me are a dime a dozen and are quite literally a dying breed in not only British wrestling, but in the wrestling scene as a whole. From the days of past, you had big, beefy beasts and powerhouses like John Haystacks and Big Daddy and British Bulldog, the powerhouses. And now you've got me, Kyle Kennedy, a big, beefy bitch. And where you've got all these ridiculous, stupid newbies coming in who do flips and try and put smiles on people's faces and entertain people. That's just not me. And you want a stuntman instead of someone that can put on a show. I don't get it.
I'll tell you what it is, Mr. Sportswire. I'll tell you what it is. To me, what it is the fact that competition, people are afraid of competition. Your record 7-1 speaks for itself. There's no wrestler right now in this business. I don't care if they're in any company. Their winning percentage does not pale, and it'll hold a candle to what you have right now, my friend. And clearly that's what it is. People know that in a fair match, one-on-one, mano-a-mano, even without the society, with the society, anybody else brings their friends, whatever it might be, Mr. Sportswire is going to come on top here. The lawman, Kyle Kennedy, and I want to go further back into nonstop action wrestling because of all those points, because you know, Mr. Sportswire, I watched the wild card Tommy Dillon a few weeks ago in GTM Chronicles. I watched him defend his championship and the company's title here, and I see it, and he's got literally one arm right now. I mean, you'd certainly made a mark on him a couple of weeks ago at Asylum, but the way I see it, clearly, the reason that you have not been reinstated back into nonstop action wrestling is the fact that management knows that Tommy Dillon is on borrowed time and they want to milk for every second they can the fact that his story of defying the odds, being the underdog champion, but you know what? At the end of the day, eventually the storybook endings come to an end. And Mr. Sportswire, to me, it's all about the fact that management deep down acknowledges that they know that Tommy Dillon, the wild card, he's on borrowed time because when you square up with him, you're going to be 8-1, and you're going to be the guy that's rightfully holding that nonstop action wrestling world-class title.
No, I'm just going to hold my phone because this is getting beyond.
Well, management, nonstop action wrestling management is playing with your phone connection. That's what it is, Mr. Sportswire. Clearly, management doesn't want you to come on tonight.
So let's just put it blank like this. Clearly, as you said, Tommy is on borrowed time. Someone doesn't want me to be champion, and that's okay. I'm cool with that. At the end of the day, I just want to wrestle. I just want to fight. But you're right, Tommy is wrestling on borrowed time. I'm bad. I'm a bad, bad man. And do you know what happens when bad men get pissed off? Bad things happen. So, and to go back to the little, just to go back for the whole society thing, I have had in multiple occasions my brethren the society I've had the Society, Remus Kane, and Robert DeCaro. For some reason, I don't know what it is, because I sure as hell don't tell them to or ask them to. But whenever anything seems to go awry, whenever things ironically seem to be on the up as well, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just not built to be in a team. Maybe I'm not society worthy, because I don't get it, because I've never asked them to come out during a match. So whenever they come out in a match and either cost me a match or help me win a match, somehow I get reprimanded. Remus and DeCaro don't. I do. Whenever it's all Kyle cheated, they don't think about DeCaro and Remus coming out and helping me win. They think, oh, Kyle cheated. He can't beat these easy competitions. So maybe, just maybe, things need to change. Maybe I need to change. Maybe I don't put on that mask anymore. Maybe I don't put on that war paint anymore. Maybe I don't put on that jacket anymore. Maybe I just don't belong with them anymore.
Well, you know what, Mr. Sportswire, the lawman Kyle Kennedy? Some of those things might be valid, but I do want to bring in somebody that might acknowledge and might see talent that's with us, and his name is James Barris. You might have heard of James Barris. He's actually the owner of a company called Colory Championship Wrestling, which is arguably one of the hottest wrestling companies in the world. Sellout after sellout after sellout. And he says, nice top, Kyle. And he also goes on and says, wonder if the board at Nonstop Action Wrestling is the same at CCW's, because they're always screwing top tier over like they're screwing you. It seems to me, Mr. Sportswire, that Mr. Barris is certainly somebody that seems to acknowledge the injustices that you're facing right now in Nonstop Action Wrestling.
That's exactly it. And by the way, Mr. Barris, I've been following CCW for quite some time. I'm a big admirer of yours. But unfortunately, right now, I don't know, I'm not in the right headspace. I'm not doing well. I don't know what it is. I'm just sick of being the pawn in other people's little games. But you know what, Mr. Barris? I will absolutely agree with you on one thing. And I said the management, from what I've noticed from CCW also, seem to have some similarities. I should be world-class champion right now. I should be in that triple threat. Not Sammy Blue, because what's Sammy Blue done? Not Champ Rogers. He's come and gone for the past few months. And you know what? Sure, Conor Cage, he's on a run right now, so I'll give Conor his props. He's the only one that's deserving of being in that spot. I hate to sound like it's such a child right now, but it genuinely really is not fair. I've tried. I've carried this company on my back since day one. And I feel like this is probably going to come back to bite me, and I'm going to get a message or a call or something. Someone's showing up at my door. But right now, it seems with my current status and my alliance with the society, maybe it's holding me back. Maybe it's a hindrance. Because I see Remus and Robert DeCaro getting multiple bookings. I see them constantly on shows. I see them get title matches. But what have I got? Nothing.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen. The definition of an injustice right now and a travesty is the way the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, has been treated. And if you do like what you hear from the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, please follow him on Instagram, Mr. Justice Kyle Kennedy. Also, the lawman, K. Kennedy on Twitter. Also, like his page on Facebook if you're watching on Facebook. Also on YouTube. Please subscribe to all his vlogs and everything that he does, because clearly this man should be holding gold and this man should be getting bookings every week. You know what? I'm even going to go on the record before I bring up a few more comments. The lawman Kyle Kennedy, he should be getting booked the way I see the natural born fighter R.P. Davis gets booked, the way Bartley gets booked, the way Davey Getzky gets booked, even guys like 2-Bit, who I just saw in Progress Wrestling, all guys that have come on to Sportswire Radio. The lawman Kyle Kennedy should be getting booked just as many times as those individuals. So clearly, if you're listening and if you're a wrestling promoter right now, whatever you should do is you should, after this interview is over, follow the lawman Kyle Kennedy, direct message him, and book him for your next show. Because last I checked on the calendar, we've got almost 3 months left of the year. That means if you're a promoter out there, you've got at least 2 to 3 more shows, and you should certainly go and make sure you message the lawman Kyle Kennedy and book this man, because if Nonstop Action Wrestling won't do it because they know that Tommy Dillon's a paper champion and a disabled champion, well then you know what? That's on them. If other companies don't want to book the lawman Kyle Kennedy, that's on them. But if you're watching and listening right now, you do what you need to do. You book the lawman Kyle Kennedy. And Mr. Barris says karma is on the horizon. And speaking of other companies out there, the lawman Kyle Kennedy, apparently Wrestling Appreciation, another company, by the way, that you built, another company in such a short amount of time here, that was basically, it was the house that Kyle Kennedy built. It was the company that Kyle Kennedy built. Listen, they always talked about Hulk Hogan building the WWF. They always talked about Sting in WCW, Ric Flair in the NWA, Rob Van Dam in ECW. Well, the last I checked, Wrestling Appreciation Society, in such a short amount of time, it's the lawman Kyle Kennedy who's made that company into what it is. And obviously, I'm sure you'd like to say something to them, because it was announced earlier last week that we will see you in action against another guy that basically used to be, we thought, was somebody that was close to you. We thought that somebody was a brother to you in Mr. Donnie Franchise.
We can get on to Donnie later on, but WAS, Wrestling Appreciation Society, it's ironic that your name has the word appreciation on it, because I have yet to receive any of that. I'm the guy that you announced firsthand for this promotion. I'm the guy that's in your first match of your first event. And yet, I see multiple posts of Matt Royale. I see tons of love and appreciation for Donnie, even though he's done next to nothing. It's not even next to nothing, it's less than that. And then you've got these nobodies, James the Beast, or whatever the crap his name is. The only people with any hindrance and any name value is the society, is me, Kyle Kennedy, is the other two. I'm really sorry if I'm feeling a little bit ick, and I'm not showing as much energy and passion as I usually do.
I don't blame you. Listen, Mr. Sportswire, if I can interject for a second, I don't blame you, because you know what? Time after time after time, you've come on here, right? And there's been wrestler after wrestler that made a name off you. Wrestler after wrestler, promoter after promoter went out and heard what you had to say and basically riffed off it. And they used it to promote themselves and enhance themselves. So you know what? Why should you be in a jovial mood? Why should you want to talk? Because you know what? Some other wrestler will come on, make an example out of it, make a name off you, and they'll get the recognition. They'll get the glory. They'll get the match time. So at the end of the day, I mean, Mr. Sportswire, I can't blame you. And there is a wrestler out there that apparently agrees, and by the way, just had a birthday, and his name is Mr. Dan Robertson, and Mr. Robertson himself is going to come back to Sportswire Radio next Monday in the same time slot. So I'm looking forward to another wrestler that has dealt with injustices, another wrestler that should certainly be getting more recognition, and certainly he's a phenomenal talent in his own right. And he says here, we're the future. NSOB management have always been rigged. It is unfair, absolutely. Well, I disagree that it should be you to end Old Man Dylan. That pleasure lies with the Colt Kennedy. You are more than welcome to step to the Killjoy first. Just don't expect victory if and when you do. Anything you want to say to Mr. Robertson before I get to a few other comments you actually might want to hear?
Before I get to Mr. Robertson, I'd just like to mention what you just put out there, stating that multiple people have gained off my name. And you're right, I didn't realize it until you said it. People like Sammy Blue, like Connor Cage, and even recently Callum Majakster. No disrespect to the guy, I have nothing but respect for him. But the fact that I stepped in the ring with him and he's getting bookings for GTM and what have you, and sure, he's got a little bit more tenure in this business than I do. But clearly someone, as I've said, is scared to book me over there. And I know who you are, and you should be scared. You should be scared. Not for what I'll do, but for what I'll say, because you know, with these lips and these ice-cold baby blues, I could tear it all down in an instant. So, that's that. But Mr. Robertson, Dan, a fellow wrestle kid, if you will, that a certain someone of CCW isn't particularly such a fan of. Dan Robertson, the right hand to the Killjoy. I know what that's like, being the guy to the side. I know what it's like to be the guy at the back of the queue. It's not fun, and you'll learn that soon. But if you would like to challenge me, and if you want a fight, that's fine by me. I'll fight you in my house, at your house. I'll fight you in a parking lot, at the shopping centre, in the middle of Asda. Or we could just make this easier and some coward promoter books me and you, and we can settle this in the ring. So yes, Mr. Robertson, it would be more than a pleasure to step in the ring with you, but my oh my, trust me, that result will not end in your favour. Not with the mood or not on the role that I am in and on right now.
Well, we'll certainly find out here, and let me get to Wrestling Appreciation Society before I get to the next comment here, which I think you'll definitely want to hear for sure. I can assure that Kyle Kennedy is a pillar of the Was roster, but the foundations were built by our brilliant committee. With that said, Kyle is a brilliant addition to our roster.
Oh, well done. Was it that hard? It's nice that you say that over social media, so you don't want to look bad. But how could I have not received that adulation in person or in private? It's nice that you're saying, oh, Kyle is a worthy and brilliant addition, and you can spurt that all over your social medias and make everyone on this live and this radio interview think WAS and the committee are good-hearted, kind, decent human beings. But Where is it in private? I have yet to receive a thank you. I have yet to receive a bouquet of flowers and a card. Not that I want one, but it'd be nice, wouldn't it? I'm just done with selfish, irreverent, arrogant, useless people in this business that build companies, call themselves promoters, and yet are too cowardly to book me or give me the appreciation that I deserve.
I'll tell you what it is before I get to a few comments. I'll tell you what it is, Mr. Sportswire, the lawman Kyle Kennedy. Promoters, they know at the end of the day, they, like I said before, they don't want competition. They know at the end of the day, you're in a company, their champions aren't going to be champions much longer. And a lot of these promoters, they have a certain way that they want to do things. And that's what it comes down to. Listen, this is a work shoot here, whatever you want to call it on Sportswire Radio. Listen, I know the game. I've been involved in it. I've been involved in other things. I have a background in the political world and government. I know these dances. I know what goes on in the back. I know what these different things, trust me, I've been in different types of situations. And what you're dealing with right now, Mr. Sportswire, is the fact that they fear competition. They know at the end of the day, and you know what? Listen, any real good promoter would know what's best for business. They would know what you'd bring to the table. But it's all about certain molds that they want to see. But certainly, I do want to bring up here somebody that's tuned in from CCW, actually, and he hasn't tuned in to hear you before, so this is kind of interesting. And his name is Jack Bartley, and of course, he's kind of the top dog right now, as he's basically the standard bearer in CCW, and he, as his usual self, of course, we had him here on Sportswire Radio not too long ago, says, someone looks a bit sad. Turn that frown upside down. I mean, take it for what it's worth, but at least there's a world champion right now that's tuned in to hear what you have to say, whereas nonstop action wrestling's, I guess, the sound of silence, you might want to say.
Problem, you big freaking clown. I'm not sad. I'm pissed off and I'm fed up. And so would you be if you had management, if you had an owner or a promoter who you worked with that did nothing. I'm sick of being the standard bearer. I'm sick of essentially doing the company's work of promoting and putting on non-stop, banger after banger. I'm sick of being the guy that people go to when they need to, when people leave, or when people pack it in, or when people just simply cannot be asked. I'm sick of being that guy. I'm sick of being the go-to guy. I'm sick of being the scapegoat. I should be far ahead than I am right now. I'm back down at the bottom of the freaking totem pole, and that's ridiculous. I should be getting world championship matches, title matches, main events, any match. But I'm not. Because people are too scared to book me, because I speak the truth, and because bad things happen to people's favorites when I'm in that ring. Look what happened to Sammy Blue. He's not been the same since Summertime Slaughterhouse, because every single one of his friends have either turned on him or just don't return his messages or his calls. Look at Conor Cage. I almost broke his damn neck, and I'm damn proud of that. Look at Champ Rogers. He left. He walked away for 3 months and didn't show up. And then he came back, and I embarrassed him again. And then you can look at Tommy Dillon, our current world-class champion. The first time I step in that ring with him since Christmas Carnage 2021, when I made my debut, I lay him out. I knock his ass to the ground and I keep him there. Gareth Angel, another former, now current world champion. I punched him in the face and he went down like a sack of spuds. But why are people so afraid? If you want views, if you want butts in seats, if you want the truth, if you're seeking justice, look no further than Mr. Justice, the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. I just want to fight. That's all I want. That's all I deserve. And no one's seemingly willing to give it me. Because as I've said, bad things happen to your favourites. And then I get reprimanded for that. I punched my boss in the face. And I got reprimanded for that. He got in my face, may I add. I was just doing my job of kicking someone's ass. And he disrespected me, got in my face, and I punched him for it, which was long overdue. So that's your retort, champ, Mr. Bartley. And if you for once want some real competition, I will head down to CCW at your earliest convenience, and I will take that championship from you. Just let me know when you want that to happen.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we'll certainly see what happens. But I'll say one thing before I get to Mr. Bartley's response and some others' responses, is that if I do look around, world champions right now in our scene, and I'll say one thing, Tommy Dillon doesn't, to me, stack up to some of the champions. And Jack Bartley, who we've had on here on the show on Sportswire Radio, if he is the fighting champion that he is, you know what? Maybe he should at least hear this out and hear what the lawman Kyle Kennedy has to say. Because you know what? At the end of the day, if you want to be a real champion, you've got to beat the best. And right now, there is no person right now who's more dangerous and more vicious than the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. Let me also bring in a very good friend of mine who came on this past weekend. That is, of course, Nicholas Cranston, who's also dealing with his own injustices over at our friend over at Wrestling Championship Entertainment, who Mr. Sportswire has gotten to know a little bit, obviously, of in the past. And he says sometimes you need to make your own change, take a chance on chaos. Maybe that's good advice. It seems like it's working for Nicholas Cranston. He's being booked twice this coming weekend, so maybe that is a good idea. Dan Robertson says just make sure Remus signs your permission slip first. But I think, Mr. Robertson, you might be a little slightly mistaken here, because we'll talk about this next week when you're on, but the lawman Kyle Kennedy's talked about the society in different ways toward that. And speaking of your society brethren, Robert DeCaro is here for the first time in quite a while here, and I guess apparently he heard some of the things that you had to say, and he says, Kyle Kennedy is the future of nonstop action wrestling. Rise to society. Anything you want to say to Mr. DeCaro, who, of course, is also announced a part of Wrestling Appreciation Society with the aforementioned Remus Kane?
Stay out of my way. Tell Remus that too. Because from what I've noticed, you guys have been getting bookings after bookings, matches after matches, title matches, whilst I've been sitting on my ass at home when I don't want to be, when I shouldn't be. So I think my feelings right now towards you two is fairly valid, because it seems whenever you two need me, I'm there in a heartbeat. But where are you two, other than the odd little comment on Facebook or Instagram or anything? Nowhere to be seen. So just stay out of my way. And tell the big, bad, scary Remus that too. Because unlike you, I'm not a lapdog. And I will bite back. I punched my boss in the face. So don't think I won't punch you or Remus or Mixed Knights for that matter. My feelings are fairly valid right now, and I think you should give me that. And I think you should agree. You don't have to, but I think you should. Yeah, that's all I've got to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a different Kyle Kennedy tonight on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station. We're used to him basically going back and forth with different people here, and it's usually a defiant, but more at times a jovial lawman Kyle Kennedy. But not tonight. And I think there's a point to be made here. Is again, before I get to Mr. Bartley's rebuttals, is to the fact that if I look at companies like Wrestling Appreciation Society, Nonstop Action Wrestling, Blackheart, even GT Ministries, those wrestlers, those promoters have made a name off this man right here. They've made their company get more engagements, more followers, more butts in the seats, more people that have come on to Sportswire Radio. So can you blame this man? Because the way I see it right now, yeah, you know what? He's in the discussion with the likes of a Bentley or certainly an RP Davis or an Andre Decker or a Davey Getsky. I mean, you can go down the line of people that regularly come on here. This guy is here. This guy is a champion. Look at this man right now. Look at how defiant. Look at how angry. This is a different Kyle Kennedy. Listen, there's no more fun and games. If you thought, we talk about the vlog, we talk about what this means to him, we talk about that. You know what? No more time for that. If you're a promoter, you better know what you need to do. You know that coming up here, you have a show. You got a few of them coming up over the next few months. You message this man. You get him on because clearly he's going to be an addition. And if you want competition, you bring him on board. And Nicholas Crenson, who certainly feels your pain, says this month's maybe years of frustration, of feeling underappreciation is definitely justified. Nicholas Crenson knows that. And I want also Nicholas Crenson to be followed and liked on Facebook. And also make sure Wrestling Championship Entertainment gets liked. WCE Heat on Facebook. Wrestling Championship Entertainment on YouTube. WCEHeat.com. Because you know what? I'm sure the management of Wrestling Championship Entertainment from the state of Wisconsin here in America will make sure that the lawman Kyle Kennedy, they'll make sure he's booked front and center. And with all due respect to the likes of Craven Rage and James Marshall, they won't be champions much longer if they go in the ring with this man. That's all I'm going to say. And also, Dustin Hart is tuned in before I get to Mr. Bartley. And, of course, love Dustin Hart always and love to see what he does in CCW, of course. And he says, from what I've heard, he needs a good push into a title shot. He's focused more than ever. And the passion in his voice says it all. He wants to get back what he does best. Respect, man. Coming from Dustin Hart, the lawman Kyle Kennedy, I mean, it seems like the CCW. You know what? I tell you what. I don't want to go too far here, Mr. Sportswire, but it seems like the CCW people, the CCW wrestlers,
Team Kennedy.
They seem like it. You know what? Because where's Joshua Snow tonight? Where's Connor Cage? Where's Sammy Blue? Where's Tommy Dillon? Where's Champ Rogers? Where's anybody you could think of from Nonstop Action Wrestling? Where are they? Other than Dan Robertson. I mean, I don't see it. It's all peeps. Where's Gareth Angel tonight? What's he waiting for? He's a champion. He's Hollywood. Listen, where's all the GTM people? Listen, where's the working class militia? Where is anybody you could think of? Blackheart Wrestling. Where is Lawrence Breeze? Where is anybody from there? You know what? Maybe I think that might be a sign. I don't know. But Mr. Bartley says here, all I'll have to say is be careful what you wish for. Jack is an opponent like no other, but so is the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. That's what I would say, Mr. Bartley. So is the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. And if you like what you hear from us on Sportswire Radio, do give us a follow on Facebook at Sportswire Radio and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You can listen to all of our great content at sportnarium.com/player. I am the host of the Sports Report, the station manager of Sportswire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryson. We are here with pro wrestling star here, the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, who has the best winning percentage of any professional wrestler right now in the business, with a nearly 90% winning percentage. There is no wrestler around that has won like him, and I can guarantee you that if you're a champion in some places, you won't be a champion much longer if the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, steps in the ring with you. So if you're a promoter out there, do the right thing. But I do want to come back to a company that we did mention, and that is GT Ministries. And I heard Bentley talk a little bit about the wild card Tommy Dillon, and I did get a chance to see you obviously in there a few months back, and you stepped toe to toe with Gareth Angel. And like I said at the top of the show, the lawman Kyle Kennedy, I mean, Gareth Angel's a champion, and now it's almost as if, you know what? Hey, it's back to the way it was before. Go ahead, jump in.
He's too busy promoting his crappy little BBC documentary. Look how much of a good guy I am. Bull crap. I think you'll find the people that play good guy are not good guys. Politicians, they pretend to be good people, but are they?
No, I can tell you from experience. Yep. Go ahead.
Wrestling promoters, just like politicians, pretend to be good people who care about your safety, who care about your management. Are they good people? They just want your blood. And then we've got people at GTM like Gareth Angel, people like Bentley, who shoot from Mr. Kennedy, by the way, say people like me, quote, aren't worthy of being a world-class champion. Now, I don't know whether or not Bentley's going to watch this later, and I quite frankly could care less if he does. But I know what you said, and trust me, I hold a grudge. And if and when I see you, whether it's out on the street or in the ring, I'm gunning for you. Because you do not get to disrespect my company's name, and you do not get to disrespect my name by saying I'm not even in the conversation to be world-class champion. Who the hell do you think you are? And people like Gareth Angel, his holy saviour of GTM, the most contradictory man in British wrestling, who says GT Ministries wrestling company isn't a wrestling company. The man who hated Jack Johnson with every fibre of his being, suddenly all that feeling is washed aside when he's in the ring with Dan Robertson. A man that said, this isn't my house, this is God's house, this is Jesus' house, and then backtracks a few seconds later and says, this is my house. You're a liar and a hypocrite for those exact reasons and so many more. But trust me, I have so much disdain for you, Mr. Angel, as a human being and as a wrestler. But we can get onto that at a later date. But GT Ministries, they're one of the companies that are scared to book me. And for good reason. I wasn't even supposed to be at Numbers. I wasn't even booked on the show, and I could tell that with every fibre of his being. When I went up to him, because a certain someone had to pull out, and I put my name in there to help you and your company and your rumble, I told you I had my gear in my bag. And I could jump in the ring and just be another number. I was fine with that. But I could tell by the look in your eyes you didn't want to put me in there. And that's fine. But you know what? You don't get to play God. Yeah, that's right, I said it. You don't get to be all holier than thou and then cast judgment on people like me. Simply because you just don't like the truth. You're not a good man, Gareth. And I know that from personal experience. Gareth, Gaz, Mr. Angel, Thompson, I could care less who you are and who you pretend to be. You're just like every snake, crook, and politician in this business, a liar, trying to hold down the truthers like me. People like you are the reason why I've not elevated in this company and in this business. I see it at GTM. I see it at NSAW. I see it at WAS. The only place I haven't seen it is Blackheart. Because I see and feel the passion there and the respect. But everywhere else I've been, they just want to hold you down. They just want to hold me down. And that's okay. Because unlike everyone else, I won't stay down. I refuse to belly up and keel over. I'm a fighter. I'm a warrior. I'm the lawman. I'm Mr. Justice, and I seek my own justice for my own selfish validation. And if that makes me the bad guy, then so can be it. I'm fine with that. Because one day you will all see that I, come the end of this book, in the final chapter, before we reach the last little bit where it says, blah, 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 the end, and then you close the book and put it back on the shelf, you will find out and realize that the true hero of the story is me, Kyle Kennedy.
Well, I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that book has been written by a long shot, and there is many, many more chapters to write, whether it's in GT Ministries or anywhere else. So certainly somebody out there will listen, I can promise you. And Jack Bartley even agrees, of course, our reigning defending CCW World Heavyweight Underground Champion. At least he agrees. He says, well, I agree. There are good people. Then there are those who pretend to be good people. And speaking of those who I thought was a good person, Mr. Sportswire Kyle Kennedy, and that was Donnie Franchise. You know, I thought that this was a guy that was a true friend. I think of that Queen song, oh, my best friend, and I thought that he was your best friend. I thought that he was a guy who was going to be there for you. I thought he was going to be a guy that was going to say, all right, you know what? I'm friends with Mr. Sportswire, the lawman Kyle Kennedy. We're going to build around him. We're going to do whatever we can. He's the guy. I've got this 14, 15-year friendship with him. It's well documented on YouTube and all these different places. But instead, I mean, he's now debuting in the ring against you, and he's basically more than anybody else. I don't care if it's Joshua Snow, Gareth Angel, you name a promoter out there. This guy, who was a friend, you thought, he turned his back on you more than anybody else. I mean, this guy to me, I mean, listen, he should be somebody that I wouldn't even utter his name anymore at this point. And we see it announced by Wrestling Appreciation Society at Deadline. You're going to be in the ring with him. I mean, you have anything you want to add to your former best friend and a guy you thought you could trust? And we all saw the video last week that you put in response. And anything you want to say further?
No, everything I needed and wanted to say I said in that video. But you know what? I can say it for the people that haven't seen it. I've carried him for 14 years. I've been with him through the ups and the downs. The only time he was anywhere near a ring is when he wanted to take a photo with me inside said ring. He's not even got his backside to training yet and already wants to proclaim himself to be a professional wrestler. He's got 8 months. 8 months, and that's not gonna be enough. It's funny to me. For the first time in a while, I'm genuinely smiling because it's funny to me how someone I loved and cared for so deeply, unannounced, calls me out for a match for no apparent reason, and he's just supposed to play manager for his said promotion. He said, before we even got all this underway, I'm going to give you an opponent worthy of the name Kyle Kennedy. Are you? Because all I see is a useless sack of crap who hasn't even stepped in the ring yet. All I see is a pretender, and believe me, I've seen a lot of pretenders. People like you have come and gone. And come April 29th, you're going to come and then you're going to go. Because, ironically and aptly named WAS, April 29th at the University of Huddersfield in the Sports Hall Arena presents Deadline. How apt of a name. Because after I'll be the deadline for you to complete your training. And then I, your master, I'm going to put you out of your misery. I'm going to end your career before it even begins. You do not deserve to step in the ring and train, let alone fight me in 8 months' time. You're my friend, you're my best friend, you're my brother, and I loved you, and you've thrown this all away just because you want a little bit of an ego boost and just get your name out there, and you just want to get in the ring just once and get all the attention around you and say, hey, look, I made it. And I'm raising all this money for charity, for a cause, because of my mum. You're pathetic.
Well, Mr. Sportswire, I've got a load of comments that a lot of people, all of a sudden, they have heard the message, apparently, because I have a ton of them, and I want to read them off one by one, and there's a few of them you're going to definitely want to pay attention to. And Jenny Hayes here says, screw them, I'm here. So I guess Jenny Hayes is taking your side for a change, so certainly...
I've always been a fan of Jenny.
I always like it. She's got a great voice, by the way. There's no question that she's got a great voice. Uncle Ralph, of course, we love Uncle Ralph, says, the working class militia are here if you pay attention to comments. We've then got Mr. Gareth Angel himself, who has decided that he's here.
He graced us with his presence.
Well, he's here. He's here. He says, nah, sorry. GTM hasn't made a name off anyone. I'd say it's the other way around. The fact that someone who had an 80-second spot in a Rumble thinks that they then deserve a match while simultaneously spouting rubbish online and not doing their research before making wild accusations makes me wonder, who is really benefiting off who right now? Maybe see you on Friday at Fountains while we watch GTM on the BBC without even a whiff of the lawman? Oh, I'll let those people that have met me and spent more than 5 minutes around me judge my character. Mr. Angel is here. What would you like to say to him?
Wild accusations. I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but if you've got anything to say, Mr. Angel, you can put out those supposed accusations, and I can, as a truther, tell the truth, or you can hide it and push it under the rug. As I know you like to do, because you believe in second chances, don't you, Mr. Angel? So listen, I've not got my name from GTM, because like you said, a little 80-second spot in a Rumble, which you're welcome for, by the way, because again, someone pulled out. I jumped in as a favour. Didn't get a thanks for that, but you're welcome. Otherwise, you would have just had some shoddy 29-man Rumble that you would have won. But listen, I've not made my name from GTM, nor would I want to. It was a nice little booking, I'll admit. It was fun to be in there. That crowd was on fire. And I got along with quite a lot of the people backstage. I didn't speak to you once other than saying, hey, I'll step in the ring and fill the card and fill the Rumble for you. And all I got was okay, I didn't go, oh, really? Thanks. So you know what? You can spout your wild accusations and say that I'm trying to use my name, your name, and GTM's name. I quite frankly care less about GTM. I only brought up GTM because Bryce brought it up. But you know what? GTM isn't on my radar. I just helped you out. Never got a thank you. And that's okay with me. I enjoyed it whilst it lasted. And I could care less about GTM, could care less about you and your mind's knowing stupidity and opinion. There's far better opportunities, far better matches, and far better talent that I've stepped in the ring with, by the way, outside of GTM. GTM isn't the place to be. It never was and it never will be. NSAW, Blackheart Wrestling, CCW, Progress, Future Shock, North. They're the places to be in the UK. So you can spout your little inconsistencies, and you can accuse me of using the GTM name from a 80-second spot. I mean, hey, it's more footage for me, which I'm grateful for. I can just put that on my wrestling CV and get more bookings. That's fine by me. But you know what? I could give less of a crap about Gareth Thompson Ministries Wrestling. I could care less about the Vigilante Bentley. I could certainly care less about the almighty Gareth Angel. The only person I truly liked at GTM, to be quite honest with you, is the wonderful, sweet that is Emma, the Blue Glasses girl.
Big fan of Blue Glasses girl, who we owe an appearance to for Sportzwire Radio. Big fan of Blue Glasses girl.
What? You can pretend that I'm using my name via your company and trying to get a hit off it like it's a drug, when I'm not. Because I'll be awaiting my thank you for stepping in the Rumble, by the way. DM. I'll wait. It's fine. You can send me an email, send me a phone call, send me a message. I'll be waiting for however long it takes for my, hey, Kyle, just wanted to say, I know it's 3 months late, but when that guy had to skip out of the Rumble, I want to say thanks for you to stepping in. Because otherwise, my plans would have gone awry. We would have had a 29-man Rumble, and it would have looked weird. So thank you, Kyle, for having my back. Thank you, Kyle, for saving the show. And thank you, Kyle, for helping me out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
you're welcome.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it certainly seems like Mr. Angel may owe something to the lawman Kyle Kennedy. Certainly, that could be something that could be revisited. I've got several more comments I want to get to here.
Thank you.
And maybe you'll get it. I don't know, but we'll certainly hope, and I'm sure Mr. Angel will definitely come.
I don't care if I get it or not. I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, you know what? We know that Mr. Angel was listening because he certainly had one of the more impactful comments I've ever seen him here on Sportswire Radio have. So there's no question that he paid attention. He's certainly seeing that. You know what? There was something there. You definitely ruffled the apple cart there, and there's no question that the apple cart there was certainly something that Gareth Angel did find certainly something that he didn't agree with, and we'll find out more from GT Ministries. I've got several comments. I'm going to run through a few of them quickly before I get to Donnie Franchise. We've got another about 15 or so minutes with the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. We know that he's a busy man, and he's tired of other wrestlers making a name off him. He's tired of other promoters making a name off himself.
If you've got any more from Gareth, I could care less. Unless it's thank you, then just
you might want to hear Remus Kane, apparently you might want to hear from. He says, couldn't have put that better myself, Kyle Kennedy. And then Robert DeCaro says, stay out of your way. We're brethren. We stick together. So why would you say that about me and Remus?
Did you not listen?
I guess not.
Clearly you didn't listen. I'll repeat it for you.
Maybe that's how and that's how Tommy Dillon beat him also in Asylum.
Yeah. I have been there every single time that you needed me, Robert, and Remus. Not once in a match have I asked you guys, hey guys, when it gets a little bit hairy out there, Come on, save me, please. Not once. I don't need that. I'll be honest here, because again, I'm a truther. If I lose, I lose. I'm not happy about losing, but that's fine. If I win for my own merit. But it seems whenever I win, the society takes a little bit of that away from me. Thanks to the society that Kyle Kennedy won. And I'm sick of it. The only help that I've had out there genuinely is mixed nights. And I lost that match. So what does that tell you? I don't need to be babysat. Oh, Kyle's in the middle of the match. Let's go out there and nearly screw things up. But hey, I'm Remus Kane. Whenever I lose a match, I'll blame it on Kyle and make him look like an idiot. I'm not having that, because like I've said, I'm not a lapdog unlike you, Robert. Remus and DeCaro can and won't make me look like an idiot. I refuse that. I've said it time and time again, why do you think that they came to me and not I to them? They needed me. And look how far it's got them. And look where it's got me. Nowhere. I'm in the same position I was when I first started. Remus and DeCaro have had title matches, main events, multiple bookings. What have I had? I'm sick of sticking my neck out. I'm sick of trying and getting so far. I refuse to be blamed anymore for Remus or DeCaro's failures. The only person that I need is Richard Knights, because they're the only ones that are giving me true guidance, unlike you two. Sure, it's nice to have you boys by my side, but don't you dare get involved. You tell me to not get involved. And yet there you are getting involved in my stuff. I should be world-class champion right now, but I'm not. I should be getting all these title matches and all these main events, but I haven't. So yeah, I'll be honest, I feel like, in a sense, don't get me wrong, I'm very appreciative for the opportunities that the society have helped me get. But at the same time, I feel a little bit held back. Because who do you think of when you think about the society? You don't think about Kyle Kennedy. You think about Remus Kane and Robert DeCaro, because they're the ones getting main events and title matches. And hell, Remus Kane was even around-the-clock champion. What have I had? What have I had in 18 months, except for being suspended, except for being called a loser and a failure and a lapdog and a crybaby? I'm in the same position I was 18 months ago when I first started this journey, whereas Robert DeCaro and Remus Kane have been gifted and earned multiple opportunities that I should also be given. I'm a member of the society too. We say we're a brotherhood and a band of brethren, and yet it seems like Remus and DeCaro are the only two that anyone pays attention to. So, like I said, maybe I should just hang it up. Maybe I should just burn the mask, throw away the jacket, rip away that ugly society shirt, and just finish it. Maybe I should just walk away. Because clearly you don't need me. And maybe I don't need you either.
Ladies and gentlemen, is it the end of the society? I don't know. What does the future hold for the society? I don't know. It does sound like, though, for the first time. Is there some seeds of doubt? Who knows? Has the path the lawman Kyle Kennedy gone led him into the same spot he was 18 months ago? To be determined. But I know one thing certainly here on Sportswire Radio, we have definitely ran the gauntlet. We have heard a lot from the lawman Kyle Kennedy. And I do, before we get to closing thoughts, because I can go back and forth all day with the society, I do want to bring up Donnie Franchise because he's personally addressed me here. So I want to bring up Mr. Franchise's comments. He says, I've said it once, I'll state again. The Bible once said, do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. It seems Remus, Robert, Richard, and now yours truly contribute to your radicalization. Your good morals have well and truly been buried. Come deadline, I'll have to bury mine too, I guess, as long as it means I prove you wrong. As a Reverend Tom, I'd expect you to be able to see the light out of everyone. I'm very disappointed by your alliances, but I'll say one thing here as a follow-up to it. And I've always said this here on Sportswire Radio. I always call it down the line. I call a spade a spade. It's not about beliefs. It's not about who's the good guy, who's the bad, who's this and that. If you go on wins and losses and you go off engagements, followers, and matches, the lawman Kyle Kennedy is the guy that should be getting title shots, should be the guy that's in main events. Because again, the other champions speak for themselves. Can they compete with the lawman Kyle Kennedy? I don't know. But let's see it. Let's see it though. And there's promoters out there.
Give me the opportunity and I'll show you.
But there was one promoter tonight who at least seemed like he kept an open mind. His name was James Barris. And that's why James Barris's company, CCW, has sellout after sellout. That's why they have hundreds and hundreds of people go to their shows. Their shows are sold out in 15, 20, 25 minutes. That's why their streams they do on Facebook get 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 views. And they have 4,000 likes on their page. And that's why people left and right want to be a part of CCW. So clearly, ladies and gentlemen, James Barris gets it. I mean, Maverick Matt Williams was just a part of the last CCW show. So clearly, at the end of the day, true wrestlers, true wrestling fans, and true good wrestling promoters, there are still a few out there. It seems like CCW is that potential company for sure that I think we can still believe. But you know what, the lawman Kyle Kennedy, I know you're a busy man. I know you have a lot going on out there, and you've certainly said a lot, and we can do this all day. We can do this dance, but I think that we've gotten a sense of how you feel right now on Sportswire Radio, and we do support you. We definitely stand with you here because you are Mr. Sportswire, and there's no question that we want to see the injustices be rectified. But I want to give you now the floor. I want to give you now any closing thoughts. Anything else you want to plug, say, anybody else you want to address? And I turn it over to you here, my friend, and the floor is yours.
Honestly, I can't think of anything. I'm not on All Hallows Eve. I've not got any bookings coming up in which I should. So I work my ass off. People have come and gone from NSAW. People have walked out on this company because they can't hack it and don't get things their own way. Whereas I don't get things my own way and I'm still here, chomping at the bit and grinding, waiting patiently. I'll be honest, my patience is waning very thin. I just want to wrestle. I want to be given the opportunities that other people are being given that just quite frankly didn't deserve. Whether James Barris hits me up and gives me that opportunity, which I would very much appreciate, that's great. Whether it's Blackheart, whenever their next show is, they've always treated me with nothing but respect. Or whether it's NSAW, and they decide, hey, we may have job here, and bring me back, we're good, just as long as I get the opportunities that other people have been afforded that quite frankly didn't deserve it. Because I'm sick sitting on my hands. I'm sick of saying nothing, and this was my opportunity. I said earlier, I'm holding nothing back. And I absolutely haven't. And I'm sure once this live stream ends, I've got quite a few messages to attend to. Oh, I can't believe you just said that. Oh, was that real? Oh, why would you say that? Oh, what's happened? Oh, is there a problem? Oh, what's going to... You're damn right. Before I respond to any messages that I've possibly got, you're damn right. Every single bit of this was a shoot. Because I'm sick of sitting on my hands. I'm sick of not being given the opportunity. For the past 18 months, I've been working my ass off. I put NSAW on the map. People have left this company, quit and walked out on this company simply because they couldn't get their own way or they felt mistreated by a system that has no idea what it's like to be mistreated. You want mistreat? Take a look at me. I'm a guy that should be in the main event, and I'm not. I'm suspended. I'm a guy that should be world-class champion. I'm a guy that should be any champion. But I'm not. I'm a guy that should get bookings after bookings, because I'm not only a great character, I'm a damn good wrestler. Is there anything to plug? Sure, I'll be the good guy. All Hallows Eve. Get your tickets now on Ticket Source. Just type in Non-Stop Action Wrestling on ticketsource.com and you can get your tickets for All Hallows Eve. I'm not even a part of CCW, but I'll plug their event, Colliery of Souls. There you go. Any other, GTM, I'll be nice to you. I'll say thank you to you, Gareth. Go watch their documentary on the 7th on BBC iPlayer. All I want to do is wrestle. All I deserve to do is be given the opportunity to put on a show and entertain people. This is the only thing in my life that I'm good at and that I love with a passion till the death of me. And that's being ripped away from me by selfish people. And I will no longer sit back and allow that.
Well, before we get out of here, I do have some breaking news, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, that you will certainly be wanting to know what that is because it will pertain to you. I have received a message from Joshua Snow. You might have heard of him. You obviously did some damage to him not too long ago. And Mr. Snow has reached out to us here on Sportzwire. Yep, I saw it, well aware of it. And Mr. Snow has personally messaged me, and he is coming back to Sportswire Radio before All Hallows Eve on October the 22nd. And he's going to have something to say about this because apparently he has heard the interview tonight and he has heard everything that you've said and I have said, and he wants to address that plus go over the entire card. So, you know what, Mr. Sportswire? Apparently, I guess after all, maybe the masses do listen. Maybe these promoters do, after you call them out a little bit, that they certainly hear it. They feel the heat. And Mr. Snow is coming back to Sportswire Radio after a long, long hiatus. We're going to get him back, and it looks like we're getting him back literally the day before All Hallows Eve. We're giving him the entire floor as long as he humanly wants. And I'm going to tell you, Mr. Sportswire, I am going to address you. I am certainly going to talk about everything that you have to say. So it looks to me as if Joshua Snow wants to come on. He wants to promote the card. Certainly want to talk about with everything that's happened with you and also the wild card Tommy Dillon and his situation plus the rest of the card. And certainly Mr. Snow has even messaged us here. So Mr. Snow has said here, Ensaw made you, Kyle. Hate me all you want, but Ensaw made you. You wouldn't have gotten to any other place if it wasn't for us. You want your shot. You want your chance. Fine. Two people can play your game. I might not be able to wrestle, but I can damn well talk circles around you. So it sounds like that he's going to address everything that you've said with us October the 21st, live on Sportswire Radio. We're dedicating the whole evening to nonstop action wrestling. So anything nonstop, never stop, anything All Hallows Eve, Asylum, you name it, all related to nonstop action wrestling, Mr. Sportswire. So I guess, after all, you maybe have heard and loud and clear put your shot out there. So, and Mr. Snow has confirmed with us that he will be joining us October the 21st, the day before All Hallows Eve. So will it be a trick or treat? I don't know, but I will make sure that I certainly ask him every humanly possible question about nonstop action wrestling and also yourself. And also, if you do want to follow Nonstop Action Wrestling, please give Nonstop Action Wrestling a follow on Instagram at NSO Wrestling UK. You can also follow Nonstop Action Wrestling on YouTube, where you can watch content, matches, the Lawman, Kyle Kennedy as well on there. Please like their pages on Facebook, also the Nonstop Action Wrestling Universe group for Facebook, also Twitter as well. So please make sure you support Nonstop Action Wrestling. Also, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, the Lawman K Kennedy on Twitter, Mr. Justice Kyle Kennedy on Instagram. Also, follow his page on Facebook, also YouTube as well. And certainly, we ran the gauntlet here. And again, also to announce the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, April 29th, and deadline will be in the ring against his former best friend, Donnie Franchise. We also talked about Cutlery Championship Wrestling and their promoter, James Barris, along with Jack Bartley. Gareth Angel joined us from GT Ministries, and obviously the big news here, we heard from Nonstop Action Wrestling's Joshua Snow. We also heard from the Society. And also next Monday, we are back with Dan Robertson to speak all things related to some of these things that Mr. Sportswire, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, said. We'll also be back here Friday on Sportswire Radio with pro wrestling star from the LWF Wildfire, Nate Reese. So in the meantime, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We are here on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station. If you can catch all of us anytime, you can do that anywhere on sportnarium.com/player, and also like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We also have a shirt that you can buy. The link is on my page. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I am the host of the Sports Report and the station manager of Sportswire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryce. We were joined by pro wrestling star here, 7-1, the Lawman, Kyle Kennedy, otherwise known as Mr. Sportswire. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Good night. Good afternoon. We'll be back here Friday on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio.